What is your purpose for communicating with me?
Calling home.
Calling home.
Yes.
No other purpose?
Hear my wife and tell her that everything is fine. I contacted her through the Red Cross. There were no more calls.
I understand. Don't you want to tell the public anything?
Overall, what I can tell you.
About what you saw?
I saw horror, a nightmare.
Don't you want to tell society about this horror and nightmares?
I wish that people in general would not face war.
I understand that you don't want people to face war in principle. Let's make a simple, logical connection. Do you have friends, acquaintances, mates?
Yes, sure.
Yeah. Can they come here like you?
Fight?
Yes.
Undoubtedly, everyone can. This is their conscious choice.
Everyone can. A conscious choice is when he understands what is happening. Do you understand what's happening?
Of course not.
Do
I'm
you
mobilized.
understand?
I had no idea what would really happen here.
And if you understood this, your choice would be...
I would never end up here.
Is it worth informing your friends, mates, and acquaintances about what is happening here?
Certainly.
For what?
To make them think.
So that their choice is as informed as possible.
Certainly.
Because otherwise their choice may be unconscious. What did they tell you about what you would do here? Let me guess. Carry humanitarian aid? Build something? Repair something?
No, they didn't say anything. They just say that I would be on the second or
Like
third
this,
line of
second
defense.
line.
Everyone has the same story.
I just wanted to say about the second and third lines.
Yes, it's the same story for everyone.
Do you give voluntary consent to the recording and publication of our interview?
Yes, I do.
My name is Vladimir, by the way. When were you mobilized?
October 13, 2022.
2022. What happened next?
Well, that's all there.
This is
Served.
clear. Further.
They were either in the back positions or in the rear positions. I was a driver. If I was at the forefront, I make trenches.
Trenches.
I made trenches and ditches. There where we captured. Our task was to make trenches, prepare a position for an assault, for offensive actions. This is all. When we entered the position, they were identified by Ukrainian servicemen. Subsequently, an assault was carried out. We were captured.
That's it. Would you like to tell us in more details?
But how? How to do this?
For example, we were sitting in a trench. There were so many of us. We opened the canned food, eat.
There was no canned
There
food.
was smell. What?
The smell
It
of
was
gunpowder.
down. The mood was wonderful,
The
excellent,
mood
cheerful.
was either cheerful nor wonderful.
These are the kinds of things I want to hear, because you understand what's the matter. No one is forcing you to talk now.
No.
I want, how can I say, for your friends, acquaintances to listen and to speak, feel it. When you read a book, it's not written the way you say it is.
Of course not.
Try telling it differently from the very beginning, but so that they get into it.
We received orders from the commander to prepare a position for offensive action. That is, it was necessary to make as many trenches as possible and camouflage them.
Where was this anyway?
The settlement of Novomikhailovka,
Novomikhailovka?
Donetsk region.
Donetsk region.
Not far from Donetsk. There were 6 of us together with the group commander. We entered our positions. It was hard to get in. They walked under machine gunner fire and artillery fire, but we still managed to get there without losses. We crawled. Our artillery helped a little and suppressed the opponents. Thanks to this, we got there. We have been revealed.
Your artillery destroyed the Ukrainians, right?
It didn't destroy it. I think it just subdued it with
How
return
with that?
fire. They simply returned fire and the enemy fell silent for a while. That is, for a short period of time, everything calms down. This was enough for us to get to the position. We crawled to the position. We waited a bit and we were identified by Ukrainian military personnel. They again started firing artillery and grenade launchers.
Ours?
Yours. Yes, yours. They didn't identify us and started shooting at us. The commander was injured, but not badly. He was able to evacuate on his own. There were 5 of us left.
Are you sure the commander didn't shoot himself?
No, there was shrapnel and a slight wound from a grenade launcher.
Well, here I tell the story that they independently threw a grenade behind themselves in order to get injured and evacuate.
Yes, there are many such precedents.
Have you personally seen or heard this?
I heard about it, I didn't see it. That's it. The commander evacuated on his own. A replacement should have come in his place. As I understand it, this person has already taken a leadership position with us. It was evening, twilight, just in time. We started digging around. We were waiting for a new commander. The artillery wasn't working anymore. They didn't shell for long, about 15-20 minutes, and everything calmed down. We thought that now we would dig until morning, and in the morning we would leave the position. That's what the task. We began to slowly dig. I did not have a night vision device or anything similar with us. One of our people stood guard and observed the situation. He detected the enemy and opened fire. We went into a circular defense. We started to defend. One of our Russian servicemen was immediately killed. 2 were wounded. My friend and I were not injured. Ukrainian servicemen offered to surrender as prisoners. We did not agree at first.
You didn't agree?
We refused.
What did you do?
We fought back and fired back. We threw grenades.
Where were you?
In such a small trench that was there.
In the trench.
Along the forest belt, they threw grenades and fired back, but the enemy began to intensify fire from machine guns, and machine guns. In short, they suppressed us. There were no options. They threw grenades at us. We decided to surrender in order to save the lives of our wounded comrades and to save our own lives.
Wouldn't it be easier to just give up?
Easier.
Why didn't you give up
The first
right away?
fight is always like this. It's unclear what and how it happened. There
I
was no
understand
commander.
that next time it will be clearer
The commander
to
was
you.
not there. No, I hope there wouldn't be a next time.
Who knows, who knows? If you were asked a year ago, you would have said that there wouldn't be a first time.
I never thought that I would be captured, and in
Did
general...
you think that you would find yourself in a real war?
No, I thought that after all they wouldn't bring us to the battle.
Do you have children?
Not yet.
Do you have a wife?
I have a
Is
wife.
this an official marriage?
Yes, official.
How old are you?
27 years old.
27. What about your wife?
Will be 37 years.
Wife will be 37 years old. Your wife could lose you. Are you ever?
Yes, I understand that at home they had already informed her that I had died.
Well, that's okay, and apparently some robot is sitting there and immediately reports dead. That's it. Indeed, if you died, she would have to receive some kind of payment for you.
Well, maybe they will pay something. I don't know what it is or how.
You can ask. This is important.
Certainly.
You came here for the money, right?
No, I'm mobilized.
How were you mobilized? What were you
At
branded
the
with?
time of mobilization, the military personnel did not yet know what salary they would receive and what they would face.
You would come here a second time if you knew about this whole situation at the front. You say you didn't know, but if you knew, what would you do?
I would try to avoid service.
Would try to evade. This is some kind of general phrase. Can you be more specific?
Well, what is more specific? You can't do anything against the
So
law.
would you go again?
But if I had to,
Well, now they will send you a second time. They will say that you didn't serve enough. It's true?
Well, there is
Let's be honest. They say, let's go ahead.
there is more than one way. There is the path of war, there is the
Whoa.
path of prison. There are other options. I won't tell you right away whether I'll end up in prison or not if, relatively speaking,
I don't
tomorrow
think you'll find yourself
I will
there.
be released from captivity, return home and given a choice. Continue to fight on the territory of Ukraine or to go to prison. I can't answer what I will choose. Because I wasn't in prison either, I don't know what to compare it to.
But you have already been to war.
At
Yes.
war? Unfortunately, I was.
How long does this contract last for you?
Contract?
How long does mobilization last? Is there a deadline?
It is officially, as the president said, over, but no relevant documents were received.
No. What other documents? What documents are you talking about?
Well, after he said this, I don't hear any of my friends being called up. Only if they voluntarily entered into a contract. These are the cases. But there was no more mobilizations as such.
Haven't you talked to people here? Didn't they tell you how they voluntarily entered into a contract?
I didn't understand.
Well, there are a lot of those who signed a contract. They didn't talk about their voluntariness.
Most people like me.
Didn't they talk about
Most
voluntariness?
people like me. No, well, here are military personnel who voluntarily left prison and military personnel who serve under contract for 2-3 months.
Military personnel from prison.
Well, now they are not military personnel. I don't know how to properly characterize them.
I see. Assess your chances of dying in war.
90%.
For how long?
The first few months. If there are assault operation and these are offensive operation, then probably in the first few days or hours of the assault. If these are rear position, as was the case with us initially, then you will still be sent to the front line and you will either storm there or dig or help in some other way. You will be taken to the front, and there many are unlucky.
Are there many corpses in the
There are a
fields?
large number of military
In the
personnel.
Donetsk region too?
Yes, in the direction where we were, the bodies have been lying for some unknown time. It is clear that they have not been lying there for 2 or 3 days.
Why aren't they taken away?
I don't know. There is no way to carry them. I helped in the evacuation several times. It was very difficult to carry out both the wounded and the dead. War battles are now of such a format that is not easy to pass through the field.
How
I
did you
had no
imagine
idea
the
about
war?
her at all. There weren't even any thoughts. My ideas were based on films. What to take the
It's clear.
representation from. There is nothing to take this example from.
Why? There are films that are close to reality. Why are you even fighting? What is your motivation?
No motivation.
Well, it's completely absent, right?
Well, it's definitely not money. What other aspect could there be beside this? I want to go home. I had a normal life at home, a normal job, a
Where
normal
did you
family. Worked for a coal mining company.
Did you mine coal?
No, I worked as an operator.
Well, the salary there should be good, right?
On average, it was normal. That was enough.
What city?
City?
Yes. Exactly,
village.
Bykov village. How long were you sent? How long do you need to be in a combat zone to return
Initially, we talked about the time from 3 months to 6
home?
months.
Just talk?
Conversation,
Was this
yes.
documented somehow?
No, it was not recorded at all.
Yeah. Initially, and then?
And then the period increased. 6 months later, we started releasing them, and then they announced that we would serve until the end of the SMO.
Tell your friends who will watch the video, what do you know about how long they will have to serve after mobilization?
Either until he dies or until he is seriously wounded. Then he will be sent home.
Or until they run
Or
out.
until it ends.
But this won't happen in the foreseeable future.
Not at all.
Why this war?
What is
Yes.
for? I don't have an answer to
Have you
this
thought about
question.
this?
I don't understand. I constantly think about what I'm doing
Fine.
here.
Who attacked whom in this war?
What aspect are we looking at now? Far
I
away?
don't understand the question. Rephrase.
I don't know how to paraphrase correctly. Well, it turns out that Russia invaded the territory of Ukraine.
Can you imagine how simple it is? In fact, just without any aspects. What other aspects could there be?
If you look from 2014, I don't know what exactly happened then and how it all happened.
In 2014, Russian troops, which were partially in Crimea, partially entered there without identification
To
marks.
Crimea?
Yes, they blocked Ukrainian troops and helped the local so-called defense. There were the same mercenary soldiers sponsored by the Russian government who seized regional administrations and government buildings.
I mean Donetsk and Lugansk
This
regions.
is how it began in Crimea.
From Crimea?
Naturally, from Crimea. Shall I give you a short tour? Listen carefully. This means that Crimea is not collective territory and Russia has long recognized the borders of today's Ukraine. Were they Russian soldiers or not? They were local self-defense forces. Our military personnel, of course, stood behind the local self-defense of Crimea. I'm not hiding it. Of course, this is a fact. We never hide it. Our armed forces, frankly speaking, blocked the armed forces of Ukraine, which were in Crimea. Comments?
This is the president of my country.
What
What
does
can
this
I
have
say?
to do with it? I understand perfectly well that this is the president of your country. I am talking about what he said.
That Russian troops participated. Yes.
Just like I said.
Yes.
Then Mr. Aksionov was appointed prime minister there.
This is the head of Crimea,
Like
right?
this, prime minister.
Yesterday I watched it on television.
Yeah. Well, he is an illegally elected prime minister. It was after they blocked the troops, after all the actions, after they captured government publication that Russia appointed its prime minister, who allegedly spoke on behalf of the Crimean people, but this is all not true. It's not true, because there are still a lot of people in Crimea who want to return back to Ukraine. This is also, in general, no secret to anyone. For example, what is happening in Crimea.
Aren't you afraid for a counter-offensive?
We are for Ukraine.
Understood?
What?
I saw this video.
Did you see?
I saw this video.
Second, where is he already apologizing?
No, the
No,
one
that's
with young
what I'm
guys.
talking about. I realized my stupidity. First of all, I apologize to the citizens of the Russian Federation. I apologize to the country.
I
Do you
haven't
think he
seen
is being
this.
sincere here, or he is sincerely answering there on the street?
Most likely on the street.
It's logical. These are not guys, these are girls animators who dance to the music of Verka Serduchka. I think they are far from politics. Were they forced to apologize too? Accordingly, when they tell me that the Crimeans are on the side of Russia, I don't believe it. Your opinion is not representative. Because people in Crimea simply cannot say that they are for Ukraine, because they will do these things with them.
What if we go out to protest en masse?
Yes, seriously, when you return, will you go to the protest en masse?
Who will come out for
That's
us?
the question. Who will come out? Who will go out to protest if your so-called law enforcement officers immediately arrest them?
Here in Khabarovsk, have you heard about the
I
situation?
heard they were going out to protest.
People protested there for a long
His
time.
last name is Furgal,
Yes.
right?
He was
What
arrested.
happened to him?
However, people could express their opinions.
Of course they could. They could have done it before. Now they can't even do that. Well, do you know what happened to Mr. Navalny?
Died.
Died.
Well, he was killed. I don't know for sure. We are in no way connect with the outside world. I heard that he was killed in prison.
Well, I'm inclined
the
to
body
believe
cannot be
that he
found.
was killed after all. Because why would he die for no reason? Because before that he was at the trial and ended up on a video conference. He didn't look very good, but he certainly wasn't dying.
He was not dying.
Not a dying state. And then suddenly he died. That doesn't happen either. That's why, if earlier it was still possible to go out and express some of your opinions, now you can no longer to do this. Why did I ask about Mr. Navalny? They didn't even want to give up his
They
body.
told us that his body was missing.
No, supposedly it seems they gave his body to his mother, but It was agreed that he would be buried quietly, there would be no big funeral.
And there will be no examinations and
Well, at least
investigations.
to make sure there wasn't a mass gathering of people. Whatever the mass gathering, that's for sure. And regarding freedom of speech, which we have now, which is now... I may show you 1 or 2 episodes. Along with your tattoos. So that guy is going to get into trouble. He came out with an empty piece of paper. I repeat, I demand that you stop your illegal actions. Everything taken away. That's all. He's taken away. During the trial, they go and express their opinions about what they like and don't like about the actions of our soldiers in Ukraine. This is a sentence, some kind of protocol.
I just wanted to ask, do you think if I just say 2 words, here now, I will be arrested?
You're already being detained. It's kind of crazy. Madness. The most epic thing will happen now.
You only photograph oppositionists, right?
We're filming everyone.
Filming everyone. Do you also film those who, for example, do not go to rallies and who support the military operation that our country has launched?
We were filming. Of course we were filming.
So then I also want to express my opinion.
Speak up.
I'm happy with the fact that...
She's happy with
That
it,
is
right?
shocking content. She came to say that she was satisfied. In short, something like this. It's short. Have questions regarding freedom of speech.
Everything is clear.
Have you ever heard about military dictatorship?
About the dictatorship,
Do you
yes.
think there is a military dictatorship in Russia now or not?
But most people now go voluntarily. They see some kind of truth in this. I don't know why.
But for some reason I
but
don't
you
see
can't
them
call
here.
it a dictatorship.
I don't see anything like this.
Here you go. Those who signed the contract are the majority. Where some people serve for 2 or 3 months, they go on their own.
They force.
No one forced them.
Like this.
How is this? They all openly say that they come here for the
But
money.
those who go to earn money go for the sake of money. This military dictatorship is mixed with the fact that the people have been reduced to the poverty. And they choose between paying of their debts or going to jail. But these are also signs of a military dictatorship. Because only in a state with a military dictatorship is this even possible here. When people are created conditions in which they are forced to go to war, they do not go with joy. They go to pay off some of their loans. Okay, we digree. I already wanted to complete the excursion. The only way to complete it is with the help of Donbass. That leaves Donbass. Let's finish the tour. So, I can find it. Here, do you know who Mr.
Mr.
Gilkin is?
Gilkin, I'm not familiar with his works, but I have heard about him. Some information.
Well, who is he?
Lately, he has been a political commentator, or
Here are the
what
following
is
words
correct.
with which you characterize the conflict in Ukraine. I still call it the tiger of the war. If our detachment had not crossed the border, everything would have ended like in Kharkiv, like in Odessa. There would have been several dozen killed, burned and arrested. That would be the end of it.
These are my words that I said back in 2014, and I am in principle they contain the truth. I saw what I think is right. Indeed, if our detachment had not come to Donbass and would not have become the core of the resistance, the center of the rescue operation in Donbass, then most likely the Russian Spring is suppressed. Russian Spring, a detachment under the command of so-called Gilkin.
Who is this?
This is Arsen.
Where is he?
Died.
No, where is it? I think this is
Donetsk.
Donetsk. I think this is 2014. In short, take my words for it that he will now fire 5 more shells in different directions.
In our media, he is presented as a hero of Donetsk People's Republic.
Yes, they even made a museum of him. There are Motorola underpants, Motorola hat, everything is Motorola. Let them make him a hero, but I'm showing you a man in Donetsk.
I have not encountered such materials.
I have a lot of similar material, large quantities. How can you come across such material if you haven't looked for it? Yes? What did the Russians do in 2014 in Donetsk and Lugansk? And talk to Crimea. Next about Donetsk and Lugansk. What were they doing there? What did they forget there? Have you come to defend?
To be honest, I didn't even think about it until October 13, 2022.
The fact is that if the Russians had not come here, then there would have been no one to protect.
Maybe.
No, that's for sure. Well, how can I say? Mr. Gherkin is right here. There would have been several dozen arrested and perhaps dead, but several dozen.
Compare it to today's number, this would be nothing.
No, compared. There is no need to compare with today's numbers. You need to think about the fact that in the state of Ukraine, when there is an internal problem, we solve it ourselves.
I understand that.
We will solve it without you. Because your defense of Donbass ended with things like this, for example. Here's Mariupol in 2014. Here's what it looks like now. This is what Severodonetsk was, and this is what it has become. Avdiivka was like this, and this is how it became. This is Bakhmut before. This is how it looks now. Understand?
Yes.
This is your protection. Question: are you an occupier?
Do you consider me an occupier?
Let's take turns somehow.
By all parameters, yes, an occupier.
Of course, I consider you an occupier. You may also ask why I consider you an occupier.
No.
Well, how? Well, who should we consider you? A man with a weapon, a citizen one side comes with a weapon to another country. Is he an occupier? Well, probably yes.
Hello.
Good afternoon, my name is Vladimir, I'm a journalist from Ukraine. Your husband is in our captivity, as you know.
Danya, be quiet.
Will you talk to him?
Certainly.
The conversation is being recorded for publication.
I understood. Hello.
Hello.
How much time do we have?
A few
I
minutes.
don't know how much time we have.
I mean, how much time to talk?
A few
A
minutes.
few minutes. That's enough. Speak.
In general, I'll go to the unit again tomorrow. Don't worry, they do everything. Your status is being changed. You were completely blocked there. Through the Red Cross on February 28, I found out that you alive and immediately went.
February 28th?
No, January. In January and on December 31. By the way, I received your letter through the Red Cross, all 3 letters, and I handed in the letter to the grandmother, and today I send you an answer.
Fine.
So, just to say, in short, I immediately went to change your status. It had already been changed. That is, every day I call them, every day I still do. Tomorrow I'll go to. Wait for communication. That's the point, and that's it. On December 31 at 6 p.m., I was told that you were dead.
Did the unit call?
They said he was dead, but they couldn't get him, and my acquaintance wrote to me that we found your body. That you were wounded there on February 9, that they dragged you. You can't
Who is
imagine
this?
how we felt there.
Acquaintance, comrade in arms.
How could he know?
How could he know?
No, he just wrote.
Was he with you there in this trench, in the trench?
No.
He didn't go to this position with you?
I haven't seen him here for a long time. That is, he was not even with us.
It turns out that he was just imagining things for your wife.
Yes.
I'm hearing this for the first time, just like you.
I'm just clarifying.
Yes, he told me sorts of nonsense. By the way, he is now wounded. Yes, he escaped and was brought back and wounded, like this. We are in touch with your grandmother. We are in touch with your grandmother, like this. They wrote letters. I wrote the letter with my own hand, but she couldn't write it. She dictated to me. I wrote
Tell us
instead
in
of her.
more details what they told you when they
They called and
called from the
introduced
unit.
themselves. I don't remember the title anymore. He introduced himself as a psychologist
Did he say what unit he was from?
from Khabarovsk.
From Khabarovsk.
They say your husband died but will be listed as missing because it is not possible to deliver the body.
For how long? Did they say something?
No, they didn't say that at all. I went there to find out. Angela helped me, showed me where to go, and went with me. That's how I went and went there. And on January 7, I had to pull myself together. It was Gada's birthday. And already on the 9th, I was sitting with your photo, talking which you left for me. Do you remember leaving the little one? And I didn't believe that you were dead. I didn't feel it all. You know, there was no such feeling. I thought I was already crazy. I started looking for you on February 9th. Oh, January, like this. And at the end of January, the Red Cross informed me that you were alive. They convened the message by which I realized that it was you, and that's it. I'm happy.
Well, is he already listed as a prisoner of war?
I'm a prisoner. Am I listed as a prisoner or not yet?
Yes.
Already a
yes.
prisoner of war.
Yes, that's all. I ran for a long time. I lived there for 2 weeks, Artyom. Was there from morning to night. I wanted to status to be changed. They asked me for proof. Well, aren't they fools?
The Red Cross
Changing
wrote the same.
status anyway.
Don't they believe him?
And the Red Cross wrote, did they react? There was no point.
They said, I asked them, weren't they told? They didn't say anything like this.
Briefly speaking,
Then they changed it. They changed it
That's
about
it.
a week
You're a
and
prisoner,
a
right?
half ago.
Yes.
We just don't have the documents in my hands yet. I only have documents from 24 stating that you are missing. It was told that these documents would take a long time to complete. You need to be sent to Ukraine and so on. I told them that it is important for me that your status be changed.
what should you send to Ukraine?
Send some documents.
They officially removed the missing person status. Sent in to your unit commander.
Ukraine is broadcasting it to you online. What do you need to send here?
Nothing for me.
We are broadcasting it to you. Do you know for what purpose? So that you can take him home quickly.
I want
Do
this.
these government agencies need to send anything else? Isn't it enough for them? Well, we will publish a video, a conversation with me. I'm more interested in asking you something. What if he did die? For what purpose would he die? Several people actually died next to him, and he saw a huge number of corpses that lay in the fields. Then listen to him. He estimated the chances of surviving, more precisely the chances of dying at 90%, yes? I might just mix up information from all the conversations. What if he did die? For what purpose?
I don't know.
How so?
It's not us. Well, it's not he who wanted to die or kill. You know, they are forced to go to fight.
It turns out that he died because he was forced to die?
I don't know. I can't answer this question for you, but...
Well, what is the but?
But he didn't want to go to war himself. He was forced, sent.
But he might not have gone.
How could he not go? If he had not gone,
Have you
he
seen
would
anyone
have
go to
been
jail?
imprisoned. Yes, exactly.
Are civilians who immediately refuse to go to war being sent to prison?
Yes, yes.
For how long?
In my opinion, Denis was sentenced to 6 years. I know this particular person. I don't remember his last name. Artyom knows him. He was
You
a
know?
prisoner.
Yes, he is a military man. She says it wrong.
You're saying it wrong. He is a military man. He is a carrier soldier. Well, that's
How
what
so?
your husband says. I didn't come up
He
with
is
this,
not a
did I?
civilian. He was already put on trial as a military man. He is not a civilian. You just misunderstood
That's
a
it.
little.
I mean civilians. Have you seen civilians who are arrested for refusing? Because I look for them and don't find them. They are simply lying to you all, saying that you go to prison for this. And everyone believes they go. Well, okay, let's say they sentence you to 6 years. Let it be like this, 6 years. How many people did next to you? Right before your eyes?
1, 3 wounded, 1 dead.
1, well, okay, 1 dead.
But that's only in this situation.
Well, this is just the last situation where he was captured and the person next to him died. How many years was he imprisoned for? For life, right?
Well, yes.
Like this. That is, if people come here and their chances of dying are 90%, and this is true, then it seems to me that serving a sentence of 6 years is a much better option, isn't it?
I don't know, you see, we didn't think that this war would be so scary.
Well, yes.
We hoped that our authorities would somehow come at peace agreement.
How will they agree? Just go to your home and live there. That's the whole agreement. Look how simple it is.
We didn't come up with this,
I understand. It runs out that you are saying that you are like slaves in this situation, right? They tell you, you go, like serfs.
This is how it
Looks
works.
like it. I understand this all too well. I just want you to think about why they fight and die. Why do they get injured and remain crippled? For what purpose?
We've been thinking about this from the first day.
So, what's the train of thoughts? What are the conclusions?
I really want this war to end soon, and that's
Look,
it.
I understand this. I really don't want to hurt you. I don't have such a task. I just want you to understand this. I'll just give you a hint. When one country invades another, as happened in this case, I have already shown
Materials.
today a video to your husband and quotes from your president, who at first said that bathing Ukraine is not part of their task. And then he said that they received new territories and that's good. Haven't I shown you this yet? No, I didn't show you. I'll show you now. It turns out that the goal of your president, who announced this, who started everything, because of whom these guys are coming here, is to seize Ukrainian territories. So your people are dying, and they fight to seize territories. Moreover, all these territories, after their capture, become completely uninhabitable. I showed him this too. You will be able to look. I'm telling you this so that you understand why they fight and die for seizure of territories. Hence the question, do you need these territories?
I don't need them at all.
Do you need destroyed cities? Or do you enjoy it?
I don't need this war at all.
I understand. Neither you nor he needs her. No one. Okay, let's start. Let's finish quickly.
We don't have much time. How is Grandma?
Fine.
Hello, how are you?
Everything is fine, and I tell her every piece of news they pass on photographs.
Did they tell my grandmother too that I was dead?
Yes.
Yes?
Well done. How caring they are. Nice guys.
December 31st.
They work.
Yes, on New Year's Day.
It's not for nothing that she gets paid.
I started to looking for you. I don't know. Maybe the prayers helped.
Не знаю, мои письма помогли, как, я не знаю, я прям везде, у меня все осталось, знаешь, когда.
I sent the photos to the volunteers. I just sent them to her, and it turns out her husband died too. Can you believe it? And when I found out that you were alive, I immediately began to act. It was Friday night. On Monday, I flew to your unit like this. I wrote all sorts of reports to the prosecutor's office. The response from the prosecutor's office was that the documents had been transferred
Anyway,
to the
don't
unit.
cry,
I did
everything
everything
is
By
I
the
could.
way, do you think you were lucky or not?
Certainly, undoubtedly.
Are you lucky?
Certainly. Even those people who received very serious injuries, amputation, consider themselves lucky because they are alive in this situation.
Just staying alive, no matter what injuries, is not
Yes,
bad.
this is already great luck.
That's it. Say goodbye to each
Говорите
other.
пока-пока и